So guys, let's start our class with a very beautiful quote here. Everything you can imagine is real. So guys, always believe in imagining, believe in dreaming, because dreams and imagination can give wings to achieve your goals. So always imagine and dream whatever you want to achieve in your life. So with these positive vibes, let's start our class. So guys, today majorly I'm going to teach you about the sampling, because from food safety officer point of view, this is very important topic. Why? Because majority of the time food safety officers would be on surveillance or on field, right? So sampling would help you in that field, because anyways you're gonna go for surveillance, you need to collect samples, you need to send for analysis, you need to then pass on the report to the designated officer, and also to the food business operator, and you have to take the respective action based on that report. So sampling becomes very important topic. And also guys, if you see statistical tools and laboratory and reference samples, so will not go into detail, because statistical tools, it's not at all important from examination point of view. But whenever you join as a food safety officer, so as you know, when you join as a food safety officer, there would be a probation time of 1 year. So during that probation time, that is training time, all your seniors basically who have already appointed food safety officers, you would be attached to those officers and they would take you along. So during that time, when you see that practical, right, so that time you will understand these statistical tools better. So from examination point of view, it's not at all important, and the important part which could help you to score marks in this section is, I'll take that in all those topics in my coming slides, right? So guys, first of all, we'll talk about sample, right? What is sampling and what type of sampling is preferred whenever you go on a visit. Then further we'll talk about what's the procedure, how you send the samples, how you pack the samples, and the most important part is the forms, because whenever food safety officer goes and collects samples, there are certain SOPs, standard procedures, which he need to follow, and there are certain forms and documents which need to be very quick and very precise. So those are the questions which would be asked in exam. Right. So first of all, I'll brief you about sampling and type of sampling. So if you see sampling, I mean, it's a self-explanatory word, right? For example, whenever any food safety officer goes on a survey or a surveillance, what he would do is he would go and collect the sample of that food. So be it any food, right? He just have to collect the samples. He had to secure it properly. He had to package it properly with all the recommendations of the FSSAI, right? And he has to send it for analysis. So if you see, sampling is conducted for various purposes such as surveillance, then data collection, monitoring of enforcement, then quality control process, then research and public information. So sampling is nothing but collecting the small portion of that food article so that it can be sent for analysis. So if you see, as per FSSAI, there are various type of samplings. So first is monitoring samplings. So we'll talk about this in detail in the coming slides. So these are just the type of samplings. First is monitoring sampling. This is also known as random sampling. Then comes the surveillance or survey sampling. Then third and fourth, these are important because these are official or legal sampling or investigation sampling, because on the basis of official and the investigation sampling, there can be strict actions which can be taken against the food business operator if any non-conformity is found. For example, if any adulteration is found, if any other pesticides are found, right, and those foods are not as per the standards which are given by FSSAI. So these two are very important, although these are also important because these helps to regularly help to all the food safety officers and all the FSSAI officials. These sampling help them to get to know like what all contaminations is being used in the market, so they can keep themselves updated and they can formulate regulations based on that. So now we'll talk about this in detail. So moving to next slide, first of all, let's talk about monitoring sampling. So if you see, monitoring sampling is conducted to assess human dietary exposure. So as I said, It is nothing but a normal monitoring. For example, food safety officer would randomly go to the market and he would collect, food samples of different article of foods. So this is just to assess the human dietary exposure. For example, to which all foods humans are being exposed. Because as you know, it's a fast changing world and companies are coming up with new food types, new food products. Every day, if you go to market, there might be a new product being launched, especially in food category, because food is such a field which would never go bankrupt, because every day we have to eat food, right? So now if you see, the point is human dietary exposure. So then it's perform risk assessment. So after consuming such new items, new foods, what could be the risk which might be faced by the consumer? So they also conduct the risk assessment studies, then monitor trends, then identify potential problems. So what could be the potential problems? For example, if food is very high in sugar, so that could lead to diabetes, right? So similarly, potential problems which are associated with that food, so what could be those problems, and how FSSAI can accordingly update their regulations, standards, and FSSAI Act, right? So next is at-risk population group. For example, there are certain groups which might be at higher risk. Guys, can you hear me? Is it audible, guys? Please confirm if my voice is clear. Okay. If anyone is facing issue, guys, so please disconnect and connect again. I think majority of you can hear me. So it might be an issue at your end as well. So just disconnect and reconnect again, right? So then comes the at-risk population group. So they also want to know, for example, there might be certain food which might not be suitable for younger kids, right? And there might be certain foods which might not be suitable for elderly people. I mean, higher age groups, right? So similarly, they would also, through monitoring sampling, they can ensure the type of food or the type of population which is at risk with the consumption of such food. Then definitely, I mean, the ultimate goal or the ultimate point of doing all this activity of monetary sampling is to set standards and guidelines, so they can assess all these points and they can timely update, because even FSSAI has to stay update, right, with the changing times. So then they can set up the standards and guidelines, and further they can evaluate the effectiveness of the program. Because at the end of the day, when these standards are set, so all the food business operators, they have to adhere to the standards and guidelines, and again they can conduct the sampling and they can evaluate the effectiveness of this program, right? So now if you see, it is also known as unbiased sampling, because as I said, randomly the food safety officers, they can go and collect any samples, right, randomly. It is not any specific sample which they are collecting. So it is also known as unbiased sampling. The purpose is the processing analysis of the sample to provide information for the occurrence of levels. So if you see, majorly they need to check the chemical contaminants, then what kind of food additives are being used, and whether these foods are free from microbial organisms, and what is their nutrition components. And further, if you see, yeah, I mean, these all are the points which they want to monitor. So the second type of sampling is surveillance sampling. So this is also a kind of survey. If you see, this type of sampling is for information gathering studies. So for example, there are scientific teams in FSSAI, right? So those scientific teams, if they want to conduct various studies, right, on the food which is being sold in the market at present, so they can just pass on this message to the food safety officers. So these officers, they can just go and collect samples just for the surveillance or the survey purpose. So they are usually limited in scope and duration. So as I said, these are very limited. I mean, this is just for basic studies which FSSAI scientific officers, they keep doing from time to time. So that is why it is very limited and in scope and duration. The survey may be used to gather information about the occurrence of chemical residue, food additives, microorganisms, and nutrition value. So again, after conducting this study, so they can these scientific committees, they can further come up with an inference, like from where the chemical residues are coming into the food, what are whether these food additives which are being used, are they safe to consume, and whether microbial organism contamination is high in the food which is being sold in the market. So all those studies days. Then accordingly, FSSAI can formulate regulations for those foods. Also, if you see, sample taken for monitoring sampling purpose does not hold any legal entity. So guys, as I said, all the samples which are collected under surveillance or monitoring sampling technique, they cannot be used for taking any legal action against those food business operator. And also these are not challengeable in the court of law. And also FSSAI cannot give punishment to those food business operator if they find any issue with the food, because these are just surveillance or monitoring samples. So now, coming to the next slide. So these are the two important sampling techniques in which a strict action can be taken if food is contaminated, if there are any adulterants or contamination found in the food. So strict legal action can be taken, even fine and punishment can be given to those food business operator. So if you see, the fourth type of sampling is known as official or legal sampling. So sample taken in this manner so that it can serve as a basis of enforcement or legal action. So as I mentioned, so official sample, FSSAI would go to any food business operator or any food manufacturing unit. He would follow these certain SOPs, standard operating procedures, which are given by FSSAI, right? He has to issue certain forms to that FBO. Then he has to collect these samples. He has to send it for the food analysis, right, to the food analyst. Then analyst gives its report. So similarly, he has to follow all the procedures, all the minute procedures which are given in that as per FSSAI guidelines, right? So here, legal action can be taken if any non-conformity is found, if any adulterant or contamination is found, then FSSAI can take a legal action against that food business operator. So next, coming to the investigation sampling. So if you see, it is taken during a food safety inspection to document inspector observations, then support regulatory actions and provide other information. So there's a very thin line between official and investigation sampling. So almost these are similar. Just if you see here, this is during the inspection. I mean, if any special inspection drive is conducted by food safety officers or by FSSAI for any specific food, so that is known as investigation, because that goes for a specific food. For example, during Diwali or any particular season, sweets might be made with adulterated milk, right? So during that time, they can conduct such sampling, right? Investigational for particular sweet or particular food, right? And again, legal action can be taken. So now guys, before conducting any sampling, there is a sampling plan which is which is proposed by FSSAI. So if you see, predetermined procedure for the selection, then withdrawal, then preservation, then transportation and preparation. So during sampling, food safety officer, he has to ensure this selection procedure. As I said, there are various type of sampling, right? So he has to ensure what type of investigation he is going through. Then further withdrawal, I mean, how he would be taking those samples, because FSSAI has given clear guidelines how the samples must be taken out, because even during the food safety officer, when they take this sample from a big lot, they have to ensure they are taking all the precautions, because if they are not cautious enough, they might contaminate the samples, and that would not give the actual result when the testing is done by food analyst. So now I'll talk about this in detail, because there are few precautions which needs to be taken by food safety officers. We'll talk about this in detail in coming slide. Then preservation. I mean, there are even certain preservatives which are finalized by FSSAI. Only those preservatives can be used, because guys, imagine, for example, food safety officer has collected any food sample and he has to send it to the lab, which is like, say, 100 kilometers away from the location from which he has collected the sample. So you can imagine, like, that sample might take 2 days or 3 days to reach that lab, right? So similarly, he has to add certain preservatives so that food does not spoil. That food sample which he has taken, it does not spoil during transportation. And fourth point is transportation. I mean, he has to also transport the samples, so he has to keep in mind all these details, right? Then preparation of the portion to be removed from a lot of a sample. So guys, this is also very, very important, because FSSAI, they have given clear guidelines how much sample must be removed from a lot, or how much sample must be removed from a retail packet, right? So we'll also talk about this in detail in the coming slides. So let's go ahead. So now, guys, if you see, we'll talk about in brief about general principles for collecting sample for legal or legal conference or surveillance. So there are certain principles. If you see, sample should be taken in presence of food business operator. So these are the basic procedures or the guidelines which food safety officer must adhere to very strictly. So if you see, samples should always be taken in the presence of food business operator. So you cannot take sample without his presence whenever you're collecting the sample. And also all sampling operations should be carried out over a sufficiently short period of time, so to avoid any alteration in the composition of the sample. So as I mentioned, the time of collecting the sample and the time between sending those sample to for food analysis, the food safety officer must ensure that it is very, very limited, because if it takes a lot of time for the food to get transport for analysis, then food composition might change. So he has to take a lot of precautions. Also, all manual sampling equipment and mechanical samples should be shall be clean, dry, free from foreign order or made from material which will not contaminate commodities. So guys, also there are certain guidelines, the type of tools which food safety officer must use, the type of vessels which food safety officer must use before collecting the sample, because contamination can even occur through those equipments and utensils, right? And that can, if by chance there is a contamination by food safety officer during the sample collection, and food analyst when he conducts the sample analysis and he finds any adulteration, then it can be very, very harmful for the food business operator. But that contamination, it has come due to the unawareness of the food safety officer. So food safety officer has to be very, very aware for all the equipments or the utensils he is using, right? And also if you see, yeah, this is very, very important, guys. So equipments must be sterilized with 70% alcohol immediately before use. So tomorrow when you join foods as a food safety officer, you have to ensure, you have to keep these minute details in mind, right? So you have to sanitize, you have to sterilize all the equipments that you use for sample collection, because ultimately that could be the cause of contamination, and that poor food business operator might get charged because of your the small mistake that you make. So you have to ensure you take all the precautionary measures, right? Then sampling shall be carried out in such a manner as to protect the sample, sampling instrument, and the container in which the samples are placed from environmental contamination. So guys, environmental contamination is a very, very big issue. So as a food safety officer, you have to be very, very vigilant. So that is why FSSAI is gonna give you training for 1 year. You, as if you tomorrow you join as a food safety officer, there would be a 1 year probation period. So during that period, you would be taught about all these good practices which you must follow when you go for sampling. So after 1 year, when you go for sampling individually, so you'll get a better training over there, and when you see practical, you will get a better knowledge, right? So environmental contamination is a major issue. One must take care of all these factors. And all precautions to prevent contamination, deterioration of commodity, and damage to pre-packaged units must be adopted. So as I told you guys, for example, if you are picking any food sample from retail shop is like normal supermarkets or any normal shop. So you have to ensure that the pre-packaged unit, you should not damage it. Normally, that is why what FSSAI says, all the pre-packaged food must not be opened. You can just simply collect 1 kg of that packet and you can send it for analysis to the food analyst. So precaution also needs to be taken for the pre-packaged units. So now there are certain health and safety precautions which must be taken by a food safety officer, also for the safety of himself and also to prevent any contamination which might occur because of the unawareness of the food safety officer. So if you see, safety and healthy precaution, that is used of protective clothing, that is lab coat with long shelf, long sleeves and buttoned up. So lab coat is very, very important whenever you go for any surveillance or conducting the legal sampling, right? And then wearing gloves and wash hands before and after sampling. So this is again, I mean, these are very, very basic. We have also read about this in sanitary and hygienic practices of the Schedule 4. So similar practices, even food safety officers, they have to follow whenever they go for sampling, right? Also use eye protection, that is safety glasses or goggles or face shield, and also confining long hairs. under a cap or tied or tucked up into coat. So even if women are going, so they need to follow these practices. Long hairs must be properly tied up. They must be tucked in coat. And because again, I mean, these could lead to contamination, right? Hair is a physical contaminant. So yeah, I mean, you need to take care. Yeah? So use of face mask to protect from toxic fumes. So even you can face toxic fume from certain foods, so you need to cover your face with mask. And then sample storage area should be adequately lit and ventilated and should be arranged to satisfy the requirement for food safety. So whenever you collect sample, make sure the area wherever you're collecting, so it is adequately lit, so you can properly see whatever sampling you're taking, right? And also it must be properly ventilated, and all these safety precautions are being followed at those place, even by the food safety officer and also by the food business operator. Right. So now, guys, we'll talk about the field sampling. So there are two types of sampling. I mean, in our syllabus, if you see field sampling and lab sampling. So field sampling is basically the sampling which the food safety officer goes to the field and conduct the samples. But then ultimately he collect all those samples, but he divides those samples into 4. So if you have read about the FSSAI Act, so in that act, it's clearly mentioned, right? The whole procedure. So if you see, the laboratory samples are nothing but the food safety officer. He has to divide that food into 4 samples. The one sample goes to food analyst, and the other 2 samples, they are given to the food safety officer. He gives those samples to the designated officer, and another sample, the last sample, he sends to the referral laboratory. If food business operator, notified laboratory, food business operator wants to analyze those samples separately. For example, because there might be reservation in the mind of food business operator, because the first sample it goes to the food analyst. So normally majority of the time it goes to the government laboratories. So most of the time, food business operator might not be interested in getting his sample analyzed from the government laboratories. So the 4th part goes to the notified laboratory, that is private laboratory. So guys, is my voice breaking or is it clear? I think there's a small internet issue, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing much that can be done. Okay, no problem. I'll explain the field sampling again. Okay, I hope it's clear, right? Just give me thumbs up, guys. It's clear. Okay, I'll continue now. Fine. Fine. Thank you, guys. Not an issue. So field sampling, guys. So normally the food safety officer, he is on the field, right? He has to visit all the different food manufacturing unit, all the different restaurants, right? So that is known as field sampling. So field sampling and laboratory sampling. So field sampling means you just go to the, for example, you go to any milk manufacturing company, right? So you go and collect various different samples. But then after collecting those bulk samples, you have to divide those samples into laboratory samples. I mean, smaller quantities, because, for example, if you are taking 1 liter of milk and you want to send it for analysis, so you have to divide that 1 liter milk into 250 ml of each, right? So why you are doing this? Because as per the FSSAI guidelines, the sample must be divided into 4 parts. So the first part, this goes to the food analyst. So the food laboratory, which are appointed by the government, so the first part goes to that laboratory, and the rest 2 parts, these goes to the designated officer. So he keeps them in his safe custody, and there's a reason why he keeps that. I'll let you know in detail later. So then there is a 4th part. So this part, food safety officer, he can send this part to the private laboratory or the notified laboratory on the request of food business operator, because sometimes food business operator might not trust the report of the government laboratory, right? So he can further simultaneously ask the food business operator, food safety officer to send his sample for testing in a private laboratory. Then he can compare both these results, and then if any non-conformity or conformity is found, I mean, that is cross-verified, right? So these two samples, these are safely kept with designated officer, because there might be a chance, right? Whenever any food sample is sent for analysis, so during transportation, that bottle might break, or there might be contamination which might occur during transportation. So to avoid such cases, two samples are safely kept with designated officer. And if such cases happen, so designated officer can take this sample and send it for the analysis again to the food analyst, right? So guys, here if you see, this is a sampling from a stationary lot of bulk grains. So this is known as random sampling. So bulk grain, for example, there's a unit, manufacturing unit, who is dealing with the grains. So if you see, the random sampling, so there is a lot of wheat or a grain. So from here they can pick any random samples. There is no any planned criteria. So they just go and pick up random samples. So they mix all those samples, and then they make small, as I said, they divide it into 4 samples, right? So this is known as random sampling in case of grains, or wheat grains, or it can be any grains. So now coming to another type of sampling which you might see whenever you go for sampling, so that is schematic sampling. So in schematic sampling, for example, if there are 3 lots, so they would take one packet from first lot, and they would take then second packet, third packet from another lot, and similarly, you know, they would have a specific scheme. So similarly, they would repeat it until and unless they finish that lot. So they would take in a schematic manner, in a proper technique, and again they would mix those all the samples, and they would make it in a laboratory sample form, so that it can be sent easily for analysis. So the previous one was random sampling, they can pick any random bags, but the another was a schematic. I mean, all these techniques, they have their own role. I mean, right now you need not to get into detail, because anyways, you when you join as a food safety officer, you will be given a complete training on this. So again, let's talk about more of the field sampling about the carton or pre-packaged box. So as I told you, there are also chances when food safety officer, he is not only going to the manufacturing units, he is also going to the pre-packaged box. I mean, the retail units, right? For example, they're going and collecting the sugar, then flour, and all these retail pre-packaged units. So pre-packaged units are usually placed in outer case or a carton containing convenient number of units. For example, if you see, whenever you go and buy Tetra pack of milk, right? So in one bigger container or one bigger carton, there are 28 small packets of Tetra pack, right? So whenever they are going and collecting such packets, so care shall be taken to ensure that pre-packaged unit is taken in random manner from the entire content of the case or the carton. So here the random sampling must be followed in the case of pre-packaged, right? And then moving ahead, yeah, so guys, this is again, it's important. So if you see, number of the carton in the consignment and the minimum number of pre-packaged unit that must be taken. So now here FSSAI, they have given clear guidelines. So during pre-packaged, whenever the food safety officer, he goes and takes samples from pre-packaged box, if in that one carton there are 1 to 10 boxes, small boxes, so he has to take one from each carton, right? If there are 1 to 10 cartons, he has to take one sample from each of these 10 cartons. If there are 11 to 100 cartons, then he has to take 10, but at a random number, right? Then if the carton is more than 100, then square root of the total number taken according to the suitable sampling scheme. So you can just ignore it. I mean, it's not at all important. Just this is just for your understanding. FSSAI is never going to ask these questions. These would be taught you when you go for training. So just a basic idea you need to have, right? So now, when it comes to the retail package, if you see, the retail package are the packages where the weight of the individual pack within the consignment does not exceed 5 kg or 5 liter. That is, for example, cans or bottles or jars or bags, and several retail package may be packed in a case. So prepared for direct sale to the individual. So retail packs are the one which are available in our shops, in our supermarkets. So in those cases, if you see, if the number of cases in a package is 1 to 200, then he has to take 3. So similarly, if the number of packages increases, so he has to take all these samples, right? So again, this is for just for your understanding. You need not to remember any of this number, not at all important from examination point of view. But yeah, definitely when you go for a field trial, when you go for a surveillance, as when you join food safety officer, then you have to keep all these points in mind, right? So guys, this is just a brief of what I told you. So food safety officer, he would go and collect these samples from the lot. So as I said, so he would, the collection of the increment as per sample planning, as I said, he would, first of all, he would plan. He would plan what kind of model he wants to follow, whether he's going for random sampling or he's going from schematic sampling, right? Then he would take these samples out of it. He would combine all it into a bulk sample. Then further, he would divide it into a 4 using sample divider. I mean, he would just divide those bulk sample into 4 samples. And I told you the reason why he divides those sample into 4. I already explained you the reason. And then he sends it for the laboratory sampling. I mean, he makes it into a laboratory sample form, and the 2 samples goes to the designated officer, and 1 sample, that is state food laboratory, for the food analyst. He conducts the analysis, and on the request of the food business operator, 1 sample goes to the notified laboratory. These are private laboratories and these are government laboratories, right? So this is the whole story of what I taught you. So now moving ahead. So guys, yeah, this is what is very, very important for you. So this is what FSSAI is going to ask in exam. And also these notes, I have prepared it from food safety officer manual. So again, guys, I'm telling you, food safety officer manual is the key to crack the exam. So just go through it every day. I mean, make sure you read it thoroughly, because that is the key to crack the exam. Food safety officer manual and your FSSAI Act, majority of these, and also from this from the microbial part, the majority of the question would be asked from the preservation topic, right? So now, if you see, whenever the food safety officer, he goes for conducting the collecting the sample, so he has to follow all these steps. So he shall call 1 or more witness at the time of lifting the samples. So whenever food safety officer goes for any surveillance or conducting any collecting any samples, he must call the witnesses, 1 or 2 witnesses at the time of collecting the sample, obtain the signature from the witnesses in all forms and documents prepared, and serve the notice on the form 5A. So guys, this is very, very important. This is what would be asked in exam. So you need to remember the form number, that is form 5A. He has to issue immediately this form 5A to that food business operator wherever he is going to collect the samples. So this form 5A is very, very important. So just remember this. The next step the food safety officer has to take is she shall pay the cost at the market for such sample to the person from whom is taking the sample. So guys, also you have to make sure whenever you join as a food safety officer tomorrow, whenever you're taking any sample, you have to pay for that. Those are not free samples, right? So you have to pay the cost of that sample at the market rate to that food business operator from whomever you are collecting this sample. And the sample shall be taken in a clean, dry bottles or jars or in a suitable container, which shall not be closed to prevent leakage and evaporation. So it should be sample. As I said, there are certain precautionary measures which food safety officer has to take. So, collecting it in dry and clean jars, and he has to package it properly so that it does not get contaminated during transportation or during packaging, right? And also, guys, the important thing, these are the details which one has to mention on the sample. So sealed sample should be properly addressed and labeled with the code number of the sample. So there are specific codes which are given by the FSSAI. So he has to code, he has to give a code number to the sample, or he has to write everything on the bottle. And next is name of the sender with his official designation. So you would be given a proper seal, so you have to write all your name, and also you have to give your designation on that sample, and date and place of collection. You have to mention the date and place from where you collected the sample, and also nature of the articles being sent for the analysis. Also you have to mention the nature of the article, right? And then is nature and quantity of the preservative, if ever added to the sample. So whenever you collect the sample, so these are the information which is mandatory. So you need to remember this. This can be asked in question, right? So you have to remember what all are the details which food safety officer has to give on the package sample. So the sample which he collects, so he has to give all this detail on that bottle. So next is the bottle and the jar or the container shall be completely wrapped in a fairly thick paper. So whenever you collect a sample in any jar or a bottle, so after taking that sample, you have to completely wrap it in a thick paper, and a paper slip of a size that goes round completely from the top to bottom of the container, bearing the signature of the designated officer. So now you have to wrap it with a paper slip from the top to bottom and also across. So these are the guidelines which you need to follow very, very strictly, and it should be in the size of the sign of the designated officer. Since you know you would be appointing under a particular designated officer, right? So on that paper slip, his signatures are mandatory. I mean, there would be a printed paper slip, so all those signatures would be present. So you have to wrap that paper slip from the top to bottom on that sample bottle. Right. Then the signature and the thumb impression of the person from whom the sample has been taken. If that person refuses, then thumb impression or the signature of one or two witness. And before sending the sample for analysis, make sure you take the signature of the person from whom the sample is collected. He can be any food business operator, he can be any restaurant owner. So make sure you also take his sign on the sample, because that ensures that the samples were taken in his custody, I mean in his presence, right? So if he is refusing to sign on it, you have to take the thumb impression of the sign of that any witness that you have, any witness which you have prepared during before collecting the sample, right? Then the next point is paper cover shall be secured by means of strong twine or thread both above and across the sample container, and twine thread shall be fastened on the paper cover by means of sealing wax. So guys, another step which you need to take is, then after taking all the signatures, all the thumb impression, all the labeling you have done, so you need to cover it with a twine or a thread. I mean, you should cover it completely with a thread. You have to twine it through that thread across the body of that, and you have to finally seal it with a sealing wax. So these are basically the government procedure. All these guidelines are given by central government of India. So you need to follow this, right? Whenever you are collecting the sample tomorrow, right? So guys, twine means nothing but you are just rolling the thread around the bottle. You take any jar, you just roll the thread around it. So that is known as twining, right? So the sample shall be divided into 4 parts. So guys, as I said, the sample must be divided into 4 parts, and or take already sealed packets. So sealed packet would be taken in case of retail packets and marked and sealed and fasten up each in such a manner as if nature permits to take signature and thumb impression. So I mean, yeah, this is very, very clear why sample must be divided into 4 parts, and the sealed container of one part of the sample should be dispatched for analysis. So guys, again, there is a form 6. So this is also very, very important. So this form needs to be sent to the food analyst whenever food safety officer, he collects the sample, and whenever he's dispatching those samples, he has to send form 6 along with that sample. Because this is very, very important. So these are the questions which would be asked in exam. So form 6 must be it must accompany with this sample. So it must be dispatched along with the sealed packet to the food analyst, and also the sealed container of the second and the third of the sample, and the 2 copies of the memorandum of form 6 shall be submitted to the designated officer. So guys, you remember I told you sample would be divided into 4 parts. So first part would be sent to food analyst, and the 2 parts would be sent to designated officer. So here also he has to make ensure, food safety officer has to ensure that he is sending the form 6 here also. So these 2 parts would be securely kept with the designated officer, and the sealed container of the remaining 4th part. So 4th part of the sample and a copy of the form 6 shall be sent to the FSSAI notified laboratory. So this is actually the most important part, and the reasons, you know, why he wants to get it tested from the notified laboratory, because these are the private laboratory. In case he does not trust the government laboratories where food analysts are appointed, so he can get it tested. Foods business operator can get it tested from the private laboratory. So further, the food safety officer shall also send a copy of the memorandum and the specimen impression of the seal. So guys, this is also very, very important. If I'm not wrong, this was also asked in 2019. Excuse me. So this was also asked in 2019. The food safety officer shall send a copy of the memorandum and specimen impression of the seal used to seal the packet, because he has to send his copy of the those certificates and also copy of his seal, because, you know, in India there might be chances that during transportation only there might be some corruption happening, right? The samples might get replaced, or any influential food business operator might get those samples replaced during transportation. So he has to ensure, food safety officer, in order to avoid such situation, he has to send a copy of the forms and the specimen impression seal to the food analyst, so that whenever the sample reaches to the food analyst, he can compare it with the seal. So only after comparing the seal on the food sample and also on the impression of the seal which is sent by the food business operator, he should open that sample. If there is any discrepancy, if those seals are not matching, then food analyst never goes ahead with testing. He immediately informs the food safety officer that there might be some issue that might have happened during the transportation. So matching of the seal is very, very important, right? And it is important to mention about the perishability of the sample. Yeah, also the food safety officer should also mention the perishability conditions if it's a food sample. So the food, if it contains milk, so it might be very, very highly perishable, right? So it's very important to mention the perishability of the sample on the food label. Right. So guys, this is just a brief, so that you can just go through it. In this, it's shortly mentioned the type of forms which must be sent. If you see memorandum to the food analyst, so one part which is sent to the food analyst, it should accompany with form 6, right? And then memorandum to the designated officer. Again, the 2 samples which are sent to the designated officer, it should also accompany with form 6, and then memorandum to the notified laboratory. So to the notified laboratory also, form 6 must accompany with the samples. Then comes the form 5A and B. So if you see, notice to the FBO from which the sample is taken. So form 5A and B, these must be provided to the food business operator by the food safety officer from whom the sample he is collecting, right? So I mean, just remember these forms. And also guys, the another important thing is there is also another form which this food analyst gives. So the food analyst gives form that is known as form 7A. So if you see, this is known as report of food analyst. So report of food analyst is given in the form of form 7A. So after conducting the successful analysis, the food analyst, he sends his report in this form. So he sent this report to the food safety officer. Then food safety officer, he discusses all the outcomes of that report in form 7A with the designated officer or the commissioner of food safety. And if there are any high non-conformities found in the sample testing, then legal action can be taken against that food business operator, right? So yeah, I mean, these are just important forms which you need to remember. Yeah, so guys, again, this is just a brief which I want to give you. Although you would read this when you read about FSSAI Act or whenever you go through Food Safety Officer Manual. So this is a complete picture what happens actually. So Food Safety Officer, he goes and collects samples. So after collecting the sample, he then parcels those sample along with appropriate forms, right? So after sending the samples, then food analyst, he ensure that the sample is with proper documentation, is with proper seal. Only after ensuring that he goes for he makes sure that the sample is now fit for analysis. So now he would conduct different testing based on the different parameters, right? This is the part of food analysis. Food analyst, you need not to go into detail. So accordingly, food analyst, he would conduct the testing and he has to give the report within 14 days. So guys, this is very, very important. He has to give report within 14 days. So guys, I missed one point here. So whenever any documents reaches to this along with the sample, it reaches to the food analyst. So he has to ensure whether it is fit for analysis or if it is unfit. Unfit is, I mean, seal is not matching, or the sample got spoiled during transportation, or there is any breakage in the container, right? So it is unfit for testing. So he has to report it to the food safety officer within 7 days period. I mean, within a week he has to inform. Then again, now you remember why these two samples were kept with the designated officer. So if it is unfit, so now the designated officer will request to the food safety officer to send another sample for testing, right? So now after testing everything, the food analyst, he has to submit the report within 14 days in the form of form 7A. So he has to provide this report within 14 days, and that report goes to the food safety officer and designated officer. So accordingly, depending upon the adulteration, depending on the contamination that is found in the sample, then the food safety officer or the commissioner of food safety or the designated officer can take an appropriate action, right? I hope guys things are clear. Today's lecture is very, very interesting actually. Right? I hope things are clear. So guys, that's it. That is what you need to remember in sampling. So just read through our notes that we have provided and also go through the food safety officer manual. And guys, in manual, there are a lot of extra detail, which is not at all important from the examination point of view, which you will be taught when you join as a food safety officer and when you go on field, right? So guys, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Just go through these slides once again. I mean, it's very, very important. So important things are the type of sampling and the forms which food safety officer has to send, and the timelines in which the laboratory reports must be given, right? Food analyst must be sending the reports. So all those details, right? So guys, thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow again with a new class. Good night. Take care. Study hard. And if you have any question, just WhatsApp me guys on this number, right? Thank you guys.